So very good morning, my dear students. So in the basic microbiology and phytopathology course, so today we are going to discuss the basic characters of microbes and its classification. So in the last class, we were discussing what is actually the basic microbiology and what are the importance of microorganisms and what are the detrimental and beneficial effect of microorganisms and what are the application of the microbiology in different field in agriculture, right? So today we are going to continue with the basic structures and the characters of the microorganisms and its classifications. So you all know the microorganisms, so very similar. You could not able to see through your naked eye. So that's what we call it as these are microscopic organisms. These microscopic organisms, so we can classify it into different groups. So we can call it as bacteria, fungi, virus, nematodes, algae, and different groups. This is based on their cell characters, right? So according to the size of the microorganisms, its sizes vary from 1 millimeter, less than 1 millimeter, our naked eye can able to see the microorganism size is 0.01, right? So if less than that, then we need a instrument, we call it as a microscopes. So the sizes of the microorganism and its hierarchy is mentioned in this picture. So the first group, the viruses, are in between these 200 nanometer to 1 nanometer size range. So bacteria in the micrometer, bacteria and fungi groups are in the micrometer, 1 micrometer to 100 micrometer is nearly about 0.1 mm, right? So less than 1 mm, so less than 1 millimeter, then you need a microscope. And helminthes are located in between these millimeter groups because you can able to see some of these helminthes. Some of the helminthes you cannot able to see. So therefore, they are located in between the macroscopic and microscopic. Right? Some of the reproductive structures of the fungal group. So for example, mushroom also, you can see through your naked eye. So that is we call it as a macroscopic structures of the fungi. But fungi, actually the fungi are under microscopic organisms, right? So these variety of microorganisms, they having the different types of cells. So we are classifying these different types of cells into 3 different categories. So prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells and cell-less organisms. Right? So this is because of the prokaryotic organisms, you can expect a cell membrane, and also you cannot expect any non-membrane bounded organelles. But in these eukaryotic cells, you can find this cell membrane and along with the cell wall, if it is plant and animal cells, we have studied in the 1101. And these you can expect the membrane bounded organelle, sometimes with single membrane, sometimes double membrane. For example, the mitochondria and chloroplast can expect a double membrane. And some virus group and Phiron, MLOs, right, and those organisms, you cannot expect anything special. You can expect the cell envelope. Inside the cell envelope, you can find these nucleotides, maybe DNA and RNA, right? So these are the 3 different categories. So prokaryotes, eukaryotes, acellular agents. You cannot expect the cell, true cells, right? No nucleus and organelles are there. They are not membrane bounded organelles in prokaryotes. Eukaryotes, membrane bounded nucleus and organelles. Acellular agents, so genome only contain DNA or RNA. There is no any defined cells. So this DNA and RNA may exist inside an envelope. So according to the cells and different characteristics of the microorganisms, so different taxonomists, we call it as a taxonomist, people who are working to classify the microorganism, all the living organism according to their characteristic features. We call it as a taxonomics. In the various era, the taxonomists classify these living organisms into different groups. For example, in the first group, the Vossas-Fox, we call it as a Vossas-Fox domain system. He introduced a domain system instead of kingdom system. In the first category, the classification is there in this slide. So from the ancestor line, he classified into 3 domains: bacteria, eukarya, archaea. There are 3 different domains: bacteria, eukarya, archaea. And in the eukarya domain, so he further classified into 5 different kingdoms. So one is protozoa, other one is plant and green alga, other group is various alga other than the green alga, animals and fungi. So this is, we call it as a 3-cell type domain system based on the Vossas-Fox classification. So later, another taxonomist, we call it as a Whittaker system. He introduces a 5 kingdom system, right? So 5 kingdom system. So he introduced some Monera, so kingdom Monera, and kingdom Plantae, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Animals, and kingdom Protists, according to the evolutionary pathways. Right? According to the evolutionary pathways, he classified into 5 kingdoms, and also he classified 2 categories of cells: prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. The prokaryotic cells you can expect only in the kingdom Monera. He also classified the kingdom Monera into kingdom Archaea, the domain Archaea and domain Bacteria. Well, the protist, so eukaryotic system, there are 4 other kingdoms: Protista, Animalia, Fungi, and Plantae. This is because this will evaluate this tree showing that from where these earlier cells to, there are 2 different categories, bacteria and archaea. From this group, it's emerged a 3rd category we call it as protists. So all protista you can expect amoeba and other things. So apicoccus, plemexans, all these things we under the protists. From this protista, the another evolutionary branch started. It forms an animals, then the fungi groups. Right? From the kingdom Monera, the separate branch also started, and it evolved as in plants. So different green plants, and you can divide this one into gymnous form and angious form. The angious forms are different. Then algae group, right? Algae group, angious form, gymnous form, and different classification, evolutionary pathways. So normally you should know, so there are 2 systems explained by the 2 taxonomists. Vossas-Fox system is we call it as a 3-cell domain system, bacteria, eukarya, archaea, and Whittaker system, 5 kingdom system. So he proposed that kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Animalia, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Fungi. There are 5. So this is the basic things you should know. Right? So we will study the one by one bacteria. Right? So this is a prokaryotic organisms. This is a microscopic. So this is an example for Escherichia. We call it as an Escherichia coli, right? E. coli, Escherichia. Right? Then another one is then archaea. So an archaea is lack of peptidoglycan. That's what we are classifying. Normally in the bacterial cell, you can expect the peptidoglycan or mycopeptide. This is not present in this group. That's what we are classifying this one as archaea. Right? So they may be included in methanogens and the halophiles and thermophilus certain groups we are classifying into Archaea group. But actually these are under the kingdom Monera, right? Kingdom Monera. The problem is some of these components, basic components for the identification of these organisms is not there. That's what we are putting in the separate thing. Second group, kingdom fungi. So you all know these eukaryotic groups. You can expect the chitin cell wall and also all these fungal molds and other mushroom groups are there. The yeast groups are there. So you will study detail all these bacteria and fungi. Third group are protozoans. So protozoans are, we call it as pseudopods, right? We call it as a pseudopod and flagella. So the having the pseudopod and flagella for mobile, so movement. So this is a different group than the fungi group. That's what we are classifying into protozoa, right? Protozoa. So these are always present as a commensalist, right? Commensalist association, they will show. An algal group. Alga is we call it as a cellulose cell wall is there, but you cannot expect the other membrane bounded organelles. That's what we are putting it as an alga, so into different wing, but it is coming under the kingdom Plantae because they have the chlorophyll molecules. And nematodes. So nematode belongs to kingdom Animalia. So because they have the eukaryotes, these are the microscopes. That's what I am showing you, right? Different groups of bacteria. So you would have seen that bacteria, protozoa, and archaea, alga. Now it's nematode, right? And so eukaryotes is a multicellular organism. It's a worm-like organism. It's carrying the stylets. That's what we call it as a nematode. If it is attacked in the plant pathogenic nematode only, you can expect the stylet, right? Stylet. And other organisms, other nematodes, sometimes would have studied about helminthes, right? We could put as a helmintha, right? So helminthology is called study of nematodes. The helminth, we call it as a nematode in. They are also causing damages on plants too. And another group is their viruses. It's an acellular. So you can find that the genomes consisting of the nucleotides, DNA, maybe RNA. According to that, you can classify DNA viruses and RNA viruses. So nowadays, COVID-19 is called as an RNA viruses. Some of the DNA viruses and the RNA viruses problem for the human being. Many RNA viruses are giving problems for the human being, but DNA viruses are mainly you can expect in the plants, right? So co-surrounded protein coats are there. That's what we call it as a capsule. So envelopes, right? The envelope, there is a problem. They can able to change the protein component of the envelopes. That's what it's able to detect, able to develop the vaccine for this is a very big problem. And pyrons is a different group other than the viruses. So these certain groups that can cause diseases on animals. For example, some bovine spongiform. Right? So this is an infectious disease. It's a proteinous infectious disease in the poultry, right? Poultry. So some are causing these infectious diseases on the human being as well. So the undetectable diseases. That's what we are classifying the pyrons. For our agricultural point of view, so we are mainly concentrating on viruses, so bacteria, and fungi, and nematodes, right? So viruses, bacteria, fungi, and nematodes. These are the major group of organisms that can able to cause the diseases. And also, these are the many members from these groups are beneficial. So we are using for the different industrial application on the agriculture. So that's what, so in this basic microbiology, we will study mainly the bacteria and fungi, some extent viruses, and the applications and of these organisms, important organisms into agriculture only agriculture. I will not discuss in the food application of these ones. Mainly we are discussing in the asset economic importance, but we will not study detail, right? So we will study one by one. From first group we call it as bacteria. Bacteria belongs to kingdom Monera. It's a single cell prokaryotic organism. You cannot expect any membrane bounded cell organelles, and also the cell membrane. Mainly you can expect the murin or the mucopeptides, right? Murin or mucopeptide. So prokaryotic unicellular microorganisms. So common chemical composition of the cell, especially in the genome, we call it as a DNA, RNA, and protein. So main genome, the nucleus, you can expect DNA as a hereditary material, but RNA and protein also you can expect. So they have the different adaptable characters. So they can live in the different extreme temperatures. So for example, Thermus aquaticus, right? Thermus aquaticus, it is there. This Thermus aquaticus as an organisms, bacteria, right? These Thermus aquatic bacteria can survive in even the hot, right? In the hot water, hot spills, right? Hot water spills also you can expect. For example, nowadays in the biotechnology, we are using certain isocymes for certain enzymes. These enzymes to cut the DNA or RNA materials. We call it as a polymerase enzyme. These enzymes we are deriving from this microorganism because they are thermostable. Up to 95 degrees Celsius, it can work. These enzymes can work. Normally, other enzymes cannot work. That's what we call it as, and they can able to survive the extreme temperatures. And also in variety of pH ranges also it can survive different bacterial groups. Mainly acidic, but some of the bacteria can even survive in the alkaline pHs. And oxygen tension, different oxygen tension also you can expect these bacterial groups. That's what in the bottom of the oceans, in the space also you can expect these bacteria cells. Where the oxygen tension is less, where the oxygen tension is high, everywhere you can expect. And different osmotic and atmospheric pressure conditions also they can survive. Because they are very small organisms. So that's what they can able to survive. And also found in almost all natural conditions. Everywhere you can expect this bacterial survival. That's what these bacteria, that's what everywhere we are cleaning the surface, every day, walls, tiles, even your palm, in the ATM machine, everywhere you can expect these bacteria. So morphological characters of the bacteria. So normally you can expect the form of group of cells. The bacteria always you can expect. If you're seeing under the microscope, you can expect the different shape of the bacterial group as a group of cells within some having the filaments. Right? Some are having the filaments. So they either motile or non-motile. If they're having the filaments, they can able to move, but others some are not motile. Right? So, and also the lack defined organized cellulose. Well-defined organized nucleus you cannot expect. So according to the shapes, you all can classify these bacteria into different 5 groups. Spiral shape, we call it as a micrococcus. Rod shape or bacilliform, we call it as an E. coli, Escherichia coli, rod shape bacteria. And spiral form, spiral shape, we call it as a spirulum. Curved or rod, we call it as a Vibrio. Vibrio cholera is causing the cholera disease. Vibrio cholera. Escherichia coli is an indication of the whether your water is contaminated with the fecal material or not. Sometimes the Escherichia coli also causing the disease in human beings, especially in the Europe. Last year, the Escherichia, different strain of the Escherichia coli contaminated with the vegetables, and it caused to diarrhea to many people. Right? And Klebsiella. It's a Clavibacter. So Clavibacter is causing the diseases on plants, in higher plants. So according to the shape, you can classify this bacteria into 5 groups. Right? For the moment, these bacteria can use the wipe-like flagella, right? Wipe-like, the filamentous-like flagella. This flagella may be present in the polar, the end, or it may be the site, and also number of flagella present in each and every side of the bacteria is very different bacteria. So according to the flagella present, the number of flagella and position of the flagella, the shape of the flagella, you can also classify the bacteria into different groups. According to the shape, there are 5 groups. According to the different flagellal arrangement, flagella arrangement also, you can classify it into 6 groups. Monotrichous. Monotrichous means single polar flagella. Right? You can, if you are taking the bacteria cells, right? If you are taking the bacterial cell, so these bacterial cells definitely you can show. For example, if you are taking the bacterial cells, right? The bacterial cells. In the bacterial cells, you can expect flagella in the one side, right? Flagella in the only this way. That is we call it as a monotrichous. Called as a monotrichous. Ambitrichous, so we call it as a single polar flagella at the both end. If the flagella is present there in the both end, we call it as an ambitrichous. Right? We call it as an ambitrichous. In this end and this end. Both sides you can find. We call it as an ambitrichous. For a monotrichous, for example, is the Xanthomonas. Xanthomonas campestris padova oryzae. They are causing the streak, bacterial streak in rice. Right? Xanthomonas citri. They are causing this spot. We call it a citrus canker. Right? Canker, Xanthomonas citri. So ambitrichous we call it as Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas solanaceae. They are causing the wilt. We call it a southern wilt in Solanaceous group, southern wilt. Solanaceous group. So brinjal, chili, tomato, potato, anything, any vegetables, it can cause the wilt disease. We call it Pseudomonas. It's an ambitrichous. And cephalotrichous, several flagella at the one end. Right? If there are several flagella is there in at the one end, we call it as a cephalotrichous. Cephalo is like you would have studied in the entomology as well, cephalothorax. Many flagella at the one end. We call it as a cephala, right? Cephalotrichous. Several flagella at one end. Pseudomonas fluorescens. Then the Pseudomonas genus, Pseudomonas fluorescens. So this is a group you can expect cephalotrichous. Another one is there as a Lopotrichous. Several flagella at the both end, right? Several flagella at the both end. We call it as a Lopotrichous. Different number of flagella at the both end, right? In the both end, if it is there, you can study. We call it as a Lophotrichous. We call it as a Lophotrichous. Another one is the subpolar single subpolar flagella. Subpolar single subpolar flagella. Right? So single subpolar flagella means only you can expect this flagella one end over the other side. Right? Subpolar and subpolar end. So that is also another one we call it as a subpolar flagella. You can expect here and sometimes here. Other side. That is for subpolar. Right? Subpolar flagella. Single subpolar flagellum or multiple you can expect. And another one is the peritrichous. Peritrichous means all over the body, right? All over the body you can expect cells, a flagella. Present of the flagella everywhere of the body, we call it as an peritrichous. So therefore, according to the shape of the bacteria, there are 5 groups. According to the number of flagella present there, you can divide into 6 group: monotrichous, single; ambitrichous, single polar at both sides; cephalotrichous, several flagella at one end; lithotrichous, several flagella at both ends; subpolar or subpolar flagellum is one single flagellum in there in the end or in the sub end. And peritrichous all over the cells you can expect. So there are different 6 group according to the number of flagella and the position of the flagella on the cell. Right? So Erwinia is Erwinia carotovora. It's causing the substrate in carrot or substrate in vegetables. We call it as an Erwinia. It's a peritrichous. All over the body you can expect. And agrobacterium. So Agrobacterium tumefaciens. This is causing the crown gall. This is the bacteria we are using the biotechnology for gene transfer. Right? Gene transfer. Plasmid, with the help of plasmid for gene transfer, we are using the Agrobacterium. But actually, these are causing the Agrobacterium tumefaciens, causing the crown gall on trees, higher plants. Right? Higher plants. So bacteria, so many bacteria have filamentous appendages called fimbria and pillae. Instead of the flagella, so fimbria or pillae is there. This is short size, a short hair-like structure. We call it as a fimbria or pillae. This is actually filamentous flagellum as a long. This is short. The size of the bacteria ranges from 1 to 5 micrometer, and normal range and volume of the structure unit lies within 5 to 50 micrometer. So normally, the bacteria cell culture, right? So all the volume, the range is 1 to 5 meter, 5 to 50 micrometer. So all the you can find a structural unit, 1 unit of bacterial column you can find within this cube. This volume, right? This volume. So bacteria also can divide at bacterial cells. So bacterial cells you can divide following 5 regions based on the different component present in the cell. Right? By bacterial cells means actually, if you are saying simply, so bacterial cells or bacteria, they have the 5 different regions. 5 different regions. One is surface appendage. You can expect flagella and flagella. Surface adherence. Some bacteria you can find they are having a silmy capsule. Capsule or silmy layer. So on outer surface we call it as surface appendages, flagella and flagella. Just below that you can open surface adherent, means silmy capsule. Below that, so inside that silmy capsule, you can find the cell wall. The cell wall, they are having the consisting of the 2 chemicals, right? 2 chemicals, so murin and mucopeptide, right? We call it as a mucopeptide and peptidoglycan. There are 2 compounds will be there, mucopeptide and peptidoglycan. If the thickness of the bacterial cell, if it is consisting more amount of mucopeptine or murin, definitely, so on the gram staining, you can differentiate this bacteria from, so peptidoglycan rich cell wall bacteria, that is gram negative bacteria. That's what according to that you are dividing, right? Dividing the bacteria into 2 groups, gram positive and gram negative, and the bacterial state. Right? More mucopeptide, 65%, above 65%. So some literature is saying 85%. And if this is 3 to 12% or less mucopeptide, and other than this peptidoglycan or lipopolysaccharides, we call it as a gram negative bacteria. So the cell wall. Inside the cell wall, you can find the cytoplasm and the organelles, cytoplasm and organelles. So normally the cytoplasm constitutes nucleotide, mesosomes, lysosomes, and lamellae. thylakoid vesicles in the chromophore. Normally, the chromophore bacteria means bacteria and photosynthetic bacteria, they can able to do the photosynthesis. The photosynthesis, normally you can find there is no well-defined chloroplast. You can find the lamella present. The lamella, you can find the chlorophyll molecules. Right? So sometimes we call it as a hemoautotroph, this bacteria. And also some reserve material like granules, food reserve material like granules. So gas vacuoles or gas vesicles, chromosomes, and carboxysome and magnetosome are also special type of organelles found in some bacteria. In some bacteria, instead of these common organelles, you can find some gas vacuoles, vesicles, and chromosomes, carboxysomes, and magnetosomes are also the called as special structures present in certain group of bacteria. Other special structures you can expect other than these, we call it as an endospores and exospores. Certain bacteria can able to produce spores like a fungi. We call it as these spores are called endospores, mean cell wall is modified to be with an deposition of these certain materials. Cell wall become a very thick and single cell modified as a reproductive unit. We call it as an endospores. Right? These endospores are survival structure, survival mechanism of this bacteria for a adverse condition. In the long term adverse condition, if the bacteria want to survive, these bacteria will produce endospores, especially the bacillus. Bacillus bacteria can able to produce endospores. So they can. So there are 5 different components you can expect from the outside to inside. For outside, you can expect flagella or villi. Just below the, just inside the villi and flagella, you can expect silmy capsule. Inside the silmy capsules, you can expect the cell wall. Inside the cell wall, you can find the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm, you can expect different number of organelles. So just inside the cytoplasm, you can find some special structure we call it as an endospores. Endospores. So these are the number of divisions or components present in the bacteria. Right? So according to the characters, then you are going to classify the bacteria according to the color and size and shapes into different categories. So this is based on the morphological characters, you can classify the bacteria. So the shape you have classified now. You will know the present of the number of flagella. You are now clear. So based on this number of flagella, the shape of the bacteria and the color of the bacteria, so we are classifying in the bacteria into different groups. So all these things, why we are studying, mean as a bacteriologist, if you are going to develop your career as a bacteriologist, or if you are going to be an agricultural officer or the research officer, your target is to identify the cause. If you are a plant pathology, identify the cause for the disease. If you want to identify the cause for the disease, you will receive the sample. From the sample, definitely you can, if you are an expert, only you can identify the bacteria. You can tell exactly what is it. If it is not, so you will simply say it's a bacteria. So in what type of bacteria? So you have to identify the bacteria to be called as a diagnosis. So morphological diagnosis, biochemical diagnosis. Now we are using that gene level diagnosis. Now using for PCR for COVID PCR. We are using this marker to detect whether it is there or not. Right. So this according to the, for the easy diagnosis and identification and classification of the bacteria, you should know all these specific characteristics. And this is because this is earlier class, before evolution of these genomic studies. Now we are in the genomic era. From the genomic era, simply from the gene sequence, you can easily identify from the strain level, right? But earlier, the people did not know much about DNA technology. What they have done is based on the external phenotypic characteristics and biochemical reaction, they classify the bacteria into different groups. Nowadays, with an advanced DNA technology, these groups are also now changing, right? Changing. First group is we call it as a gram-negative aerobic rot and cocky. Why? Rod and cocky we call it as in shape. Aerobic mean from the biochemical reaction. Gram-negative from the gram stain. You see how we are classifying this bacteria. This is first taking the bacteria. First category for the classification, whether it is gram positive or gram negative. If it is gram positive, then you have to do for the specific biochemical test. If it is gram positive, you have to do specific biochemical test for the gram positive. So in this way, you can go there, right? So first family we call it as in Pseudomonadaceae, right? The Pseudomonadaceae. The Pseudomonadaceae, there are 4 genus, right? 4 genus. So 4 means 7 genus, right? 7 genus are there. One is we call it as in Pseudomonas, Xanthomonas, Xylella, Burkholderia, Acidovorex, Rhizomonas, Rhizobacter. These all are under the part 1, right? We call it as a family Pseudomonaceae. Pseudomonadaceae, there are 7 genus. So first genus we call it as in Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas is a rod shape, one or several polar flagella, colonies are white. Right? They are producing white colony, one or several polar flagella. That's what I told you. Pseudomonas is there are 2 different polar, right? Monotrichous and so in the Pseudomonas fluorescens and Pseudomonas solanacearum, the earlier group you would have seen, you can check it, right? Single polar flagellum is there, Pseudomonas. Several flagellum is there, Pseudomonas fluorescens specific. That's what we are dividing into one or several, right? Amphitrechus or Cephalotrichus. So that's what they are, Pseudomonas, one or several polar flagellum. We call it as in Pseudomonas. Xanthomonas, the rod shape, one polar flagellum, colony is yellow. Xylella, rod shape, the shapes are similar, same. But under some cultural condition, filamentous, non-motile, aflagellate. You see, aflagellate. There is no flagella. That's what we call it as an atricus. Aflagellate, no flagella. And non-pigmented. This is a colony characters, right? Colony characters. So some are filamentous, some are aflagellate. So filaments are there. Filamentous of villi they will be there, but there is no flagella. We call it as xylella. This is also causing the disease in higher trees. And Burkholderia. Right? Burkholderia spinosa. This is also causing some of the rots in higher trees, right? Rod-shaped bacteria and motile, but one or more polar flagella. This is also. Colony color is white, nutrient very versatile. Nutrition very versatile. Any type of nutrition they can consume. So that's what this nutrient consume is versatile, but in the biochemical test difficult to identify because it can use many nutritions. And Acidovorex, so rod-shaped bacteria, motile, single polar flagellum, colonies are white, limited number of sugars are used for growth. That's what is Acidovorex. By using an acid test, easily you can identify this bacteria, Acidovorex. Only they can use some amount, few sugars. Sometimes they can use glycon only, glucose only. Sometimes they will use a glycogen only. That varies, right? And Rhizomonas. The Rhizomonas is a small rod-shaped bacteria, motile by single polar flagellum. Colony is slow growing and white, causes corky root of lettuce. Rhizomonas, they are causing the disease we call it as an corky root of lettuce because of the Rhizomonas attack. Then Rhizobacter. The Rhizobacter is you can expect that one lateral or polar flagellum, colony is white to yellowish white. white to yellow is white upon the medium. So depend on the medium. That's what sometimes you will use a specific medium for growing of this bacteria. You will study this one all mediums and test in the practical classes. Causing the carrot bacterial gall. Carrot bacterial is gall is caused by rhizobacteria. This is under the, there are 7 genus under the group 1 family Pseudomonaceae. All are aerobic rot cocci. Ora aerobic and so this is the characteristics. You see, I have summarized here. And size and the motility by using their flagella size, right? Xanthomonas, Pseudomonas, Erwinia, Agrobacterium, Clavibacter, Ralstonia, Streptomyces, Xylella. These 8 bacteria are very, very important bacteria that are causing the diseases in plants. For example, Xanthomonas citri, they are causing citrus canker. Pseudomonas solanacearum, that is causing the southern wilt or bacterial wilt in Solanaceae family. Erwinia carotavora causing the soft rot in carrot and many vegetables. Agrobacterium tumefacinus, that is causing the crown rot in high trees. Clavibacter also causing certain rots in the certain orchard crops. And Ralstonia solanacearum and Pseudomonas solanacearum is same groups. Pseudomonas fluorescens same time. So Pseudomonas solanacearum and Ralstonia solanacearum, they are same groups, right? Same groups, but level is different. Someone will sexually reproduce, someone will not sexually reproduce. And Streptomyces cape they are causing the scab on potato. Xylella also causing some of the root diseases in the high plants. So these are the very important 8 groups of bacteria summarized here. And cultural characteristics. This is it's a continuation of the table, right? Size, shape, size, motility, and colony characteristics. This is a colony characteristics. If you are printing out these as a one table, and if you are studying this one clearly, then it will not confuse you. It will not confuse you. And bacterial growth and reproduction, right? So this is, I took it only the part 1 is a gram-negative aerobic rotten cocci is only one part. There are several classifications. I took only one classification. So based on the what are important bacteria for the plant pathology, agricultural purpose only, right? Bacteria, if you are going there in bacteriology study, so there are several classifications. Food microorganisms, some are human caused diseases on different, right? But I took only the what are the bacteria that are causing the diseases on plants. The next is the bacterial growth and reproduction. So up to now we have studied the what are bacteria, what are the external characters of the bacteria, what are the cell divisions present in the bacteria, what are the how you can classify the bacteria according to the size and shape and present and absent of the flagella, and how they are reacting in the biochemical reactions. Now we are studying the bacterial growth and reproduction. Right? So bacteria, you all know, the bacteria reproduction is we call it as a simple binary fission, not fusion, fission. Binary fission, so you see, binary fission is an asexual reproduction. This binary fission is commonly, and you can expect all the bacteria, and it is a routine method of reproduction. Routine method of reproduction. So bacterial cell will double from each and every cell. We call it as a doubling time. For generation time is 20 to 30 minutes. In each and every 20 to 30 minutes, it will double itself. 2 to the power n. 2, 4, 8. 16. Which means 64, 256, like that. It will multiply like that. Right? So 2 to the power n. Like that's what we, so the bacteria curve is always like a bacterial multiplication is an exponential rate. So if you are going there, nowadays they are calculating the COVID-19 growth and growth rate is an exponential rate. You're going that right epidemiology department, epidemiology.lk. Going there in the website, the front page it is there. How many patients are affected by the COVID-19? How this COVID-19 curve is going, like a sigmoid curve. If it is reached, right, our curve is going like this. Right, our curve is going like this. For example, I can show you. Our curve is like going this. If it is reached like this, it means India is going to indicate that we have reached the full capacity. Thereafter, you will not expect any COVID damages, infection. But our graph is like this here, somewhere here. Right? This means we can expect more diseases, more infections, because it is not reached the full capacity. Right? Full capacity. Like that, the bacteria in all the living organisms, everywhere, the human population growth rate curve. Like we call it as a sigmoid curve, right? Sigmoid curve is an indicating that, right? It's an indication of how it is multiplying. So this is an asexual reproduction. We call it as a binary fission. In some rare cases, they can also show some sexual reproduction. The sexual reproduction, there are 4 different categories. These 4 different categories commonly observed in fungi, but also some of the bacteria groups also they are showing. Transformation, conjugation, transduction, and lysogenic conversion. So there are 4 different types of sexual reproduction also you can expect in unexpected condition or rare cases. Other than this, asexual and asexual, sometimes vegetative reproduction also you can expect sometimes. For example, there formation of endospore, the fragmentation of cyst, fragmentation and formation of endospore, this bacteria. And that is also another category of the growth and reproduction. So this variability among the bacteria, this sexual reproduction through these 4 steps, transformation, conjugation and transduction and lysogenic conversions can cause the variation in bacteria. But binary fission and this formation of the endospore and fragmentation cannot cause any variation. Right? So therefore, sexual reproduction should be limited. Otherwise, the variation will be going and going. So you will study the different strains. Nowadays, you have been COVID-19 also, you have changed the protein. Now it's a different strain, it's a fast and virulent strain. It's changing. Right? So conjugation is mean when 2 compatible bacteria cells come into contact, they can recept. Then the recipient, female cell, receives the DNA from donor male cells. That's what you can differentiate. Otherwise, there is no any sexual dimorphism. Genetic makeup of both cells is changed. That's what we call it as a conjugation. DNA material is transferred, come and do 2 DNA material from coming and fusion. This is called as conjugation. And transformation. So bacteria cell absorb the DNA exuded by the compatible cells, so free by a dissolution of the cell wall into the external medium. If there are 2 bacteria cells present in the medium, the one cell, bacterial cells, cell wall or other things is abolished or degraded, this DNA material will absorb by this other bacteria. This is sometimes we call as a transformation. And transduction. This is normally the bacteriophage and virus reactions, right? So normally the viruses, if the bacteriophage attacked the bacteria, they will penetrate it and insert it. It's a DNA material. This DNA material can able to modify the bacterial DNA. So this bacterial DNA, if it is modified, is we call it as a new organism. This is called as a transduction. It's called as a transduction. Lysogeny. Lysogeny means is an involved association of the genetic material of the virus with that of bacteria. Although it is different form of the three process, it is provides a permanent genetic modification of the bacterial genome. That is created the variation, transduction due to the enzyme produced by the viruses. But here, it's a permanent transfer of this virus material in the bacterial gene. That's we call it as a meiosis. These type of all four types of reproduction, sexual reproduction, are in rare cases, right? Rare cases. And it can create the variability. And another form of reproduction is normal asexual reproduction, we call it as a binary fission, right? Binary fission. So this binary fission is a common doubling of the bacteria. So if the bacteria is there in a medium, so first the bacteria DNA will double it, right? Cell elongation can happen and DNA will replication. Once it's DNA replicated, then again the plasma membrane, the cell wall and the plasma membrane being to constrict. So the plasma membrane will grow inside. So mean constriction you can expect. Then if it is fully grown plasma membrane and cell wall, then it will be a two bacteria. Then cell will be separated. So this being again doubled. From the one bacteria, it is doubled. This can happen in the any substrate medium. If the substrate is very rich, this doubling will be quicker until if it is exhausting fully of this material. That is we call it as a bacterial doubling time. This measured through the bacterial growth curve, right? So multiplication of the bacteria in closed system is limited by the exhaustion of the nutrient increase, the hydrogen ion and the toxin metabolites. That's what I told you, this curve. So normally they are measured through the external medium, put it, and every time they count at the cell number, they produce the curve, right? So growth cycle in closed system, after inoculation of the fresh medium of the closed system, bacteria grow and multiply in successive phases. There are four phases you can expect. First time is a lag phase. Lag phase means bacteria should adapt that particular condition or environment with the material is there. Once it's adapted, phase we call it as an acceleration, exponential growth stage. So if it is for bacteria is doubling, if it is fully doubled, all the nutrition exhaust, it will become a stationary. There is no any doubling. Then the phase of declining means bacterial cell will die because of this no nutrition. This is the way this bacterial growth curve will behave. Lag phase, the lag phase means for adaptation phase to the new phase. That's what we are calling it as an incubation period. The virus, if the COVID-19 is you get infected, after 2-3 days you cannot show any symptoms, or in the PCR test will not detect. Thereafter, after 14 days, you see the exponential, then your PCR will detect whether the virus is there or not. Then after 14 days to 21 days, it will go stationary. The life cycle is completed, then decline. No anything like this bacterial exponential growth. Right? So we call it as a bacterial growth. So another step is there, then endospore formation step, and I will discuss the endospore formation in the next class. So until then, I am going to stop here. If you have any questions, please ask.